unless the monitor is off.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, every morning I have a bunch of dogs at my house, and every morning I do a happy test. And I go up to my dog and I rub his head and give him a belly rub and scratch his tail, and he jumps up and puts his paws on me and his tail's wagging. And I was thinking when that happened, wouldn't it be awesome if we all did that to each other? Welcome to the beloved community known as UU Amherst. We are so glad that each one of you is here today. If you are a newcomer, we hope you'll keep coming back and make your spiritual home with us. For those who have already made UU Amherst your home, we hope you will continue to challenge yourself to grow and to help us live our aspirations in this incredibly beloved community. There are many ways to get involved. Your order of service lists a few of those opportunities with more information on our website. Hi, Poppy. Please join us after the service for coffee and conversation in the Emerson room, which is right in the back through those doors. We are a community of many ages and stages of life. We have assisted hearing devices at the usher's station right in the back here, and childcare activities as well, all at the back of the chapel. Children and youth are invited to leave following the labyrinth meditation to have some multi-age fun and values building and return for the last song and announcements. For those gathered in the chapel, I urge you to either place your phone on airplane mode or turn it off completely to free up web bandwidth for the live stream. This will be the last time we'll ask you to do this. Next week, we are confiscating all phones. And so now let's do what we do best, and that is to welcome one another into this time made sacred by our presence together. Let's get up and welcome each other. And now our guest speaker, John Snodgrass, would like to offer a few words of welcome. John?
Well, good morning. So, grandmother said, Mandy, here's $2. Would you please run to the corner store and pick up some hot dog buns? And Mandy said, actually, it's going to be $3, grandmother. She said, you know, I remember when you could walk into a store with $1 and come out with enough food to throw a picnic for the whole family. Mandy said, yes, that's called inflation. Grandmother said, no, it's those darn security cameras. Well, welcome to this place which we make, it's okay. Welcome to this place which we make holy by our presence. Bring your brokenness and your personal glow, your early morning aches and your energy, your vulnerabilities and strengths, hopes and fears, for here you need not hide nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, where the human is celebrated, where compassion is strength. Welcome to this place. Together we make it a holy place.
It is our custom when we gather to light a chalice, and this morning Lori Hickson is going to help us do that. The chalice is a cup or vessel that symbolizes the gathered community. The flame represents the spark that each one of us brings to represent the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of our commitment to bring more compassion and justice to the world. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of our life together. Each week we light the chalice to symbolize the gathered community. We also acknowledge that our church is built on holy ground, land that was nurtured and cultivated, and too often soaked with the blood of the first peoples who occupied it before us. We offer this libation as our giveaway, a symbol of our respect for and deep connection with the land.
Our song of intention this morning can be found in your gray hymnal. It's it's in your teal hymnal, 1007. The words will be projected up front. There's a river flowing in my soul. I hope you'll rise and bow to your spirit and sing with me.
Telling me that I'm sorry.
seated. So it is our practice when we gather on Sunday mornings to offer a time for all ages, a story with some reflection. We call it numerous things, depending what the actual element is, but I wonder, why do we include this in our service? I mean, our kids go off to their own programming a little bit later, so what do you think? Why do we offer this in our service? And just shout out. I'm really good with shouts. Inner child. For our inner child, because don't we all love a good story? They're fun. Church can be fun. Shh, don't tell anyone. Tell everybody, actually. I'm just going to. Allegory. I love that. Allegory, parable, stories tell us so much at so many levels. Okay, that's really all the answers there could possibly be. So, so I think it's a way of acknowledging that even on those occasions when there aren't children in our midst, that we're ready. We're ready for when families come. And for a long time, we didn't have children in our midst, but we kept being ready just in case. And oh, something incredible happened. Now we have families and children and youth in our midst. And it's wonderful. And the more that we can create those bonds of commonality, the greater, the greater satisfaction we will have and the greater outreach we will have and inreach. So I guess we sort of filled in all of those questions. I want to use this time for all ages. Sometimes I tell spiffy stories. Sometimes I tell stories that aren't quite that spiffy. But I want to use this time also to reinforce our basic values, because the Unitarian Universalists don't have to believe the same, but we do have shared values. And that is the greatest thing, I think, that we can share with children and youth and families and long-timers and people with various colors of hair, that range the whole spectrum, that we do share these values. And so I'm going to show a music video. It is by an artist known as Nemo Patel, and he has very generously made his music videos free for people to use in exactly this way. And so this is called Superhero, and watch for our shared values. Isn't that awesome? So, what did you observe? How can we be superheroes? What did you observe? What is possible? Being kind.
To give without expecting return.
To give without expecting return.
Being helpful.
Being helpful.
Teaching children.
Teaching children.
Show respect. Show respect.
Show respect. And what about that little duckling? Oh. Acknowledging that we are part of an interdependent web, and kindness goes beyond the human beings. There are many beings on our planet.
Being present.
Being present.
Knowing what's going on.
Noticing, I think that is a huge gift. If we can learn, because I do think it is a learned thing, to pay attention, to, scan the space when you walk into a situation. Just notice. Notice what's happening. Yeah.
Love. Be prepared to be kind.
Love, be prepared to be kind. Yeah, did you notice he had sandwiches with him? Of course, it was a music video, and so it was planned to have sandwiches with him. Be prepared to be kind. So this is a small plug for we have Kindness Rocks that is part of an ongoing project that is not just us. And they can be found in the lobby, and you can make them. And the whole point is to leave these rocks where someone might see them and have like a moment of, oh, isn't that nice? Huh. Someone said, you're wonderful. Oh, thanks. So, yeah, we can change the world in these really small acts. We can be superheroes in someone's lives. Yes, Marjorie?
Setting a good example.
And we can set a good example. That's a good segue. And we can be good ancestors, which I think is why we're here. Each week, we bring our whole selves into this space. We bring our joys, our concerns, our sorrows, and they're held in this sacred container that, as John said, we make holy, we make sacred by our presence together. I invite you to come forward as you will and to place a stone or a shell on the table labyrinth in honor of all that you bring with you today. Come forward as you will. we hold in our hearts all who are suffering. Although we may feel powerless to effect big changes in the world, we know that intimate acts of compassion and kindness can ripple out and change hearts and lives. Please remain seated as we sing our meditation in song. It can be found in the Teal Hymnal, number 1031. The words will be up front. And children and youth are invited to go to their programming as we sing. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
We are a beloved community, a gathering of people who have chosen to journey together, to encourage one another, and to be part of something important and life-changing. Because we aspire to be such a people, we make bold promises about how we will be with one another. Whether today is your first time or you've made UU Amherst your longtime home, you're invited to share in our sacred promise. Together we promise to gather in compassionate community, to celebrate diversity of thought and unity of spirit, and seek wholeness for ourselves, our children, and our world. And now we'll welcome once again our guest speaker, John Snodgrass, back into our pulpit.
A couple of months ago, I was here and I delivered a message called Great Snakes, and I did not have an ending for it. So I said I would continue it, and so I think I've come up with something. Last month, our neighborhood got buried in snow, and everything got shut down, and with the kids out of school for a week, Elizabeth and I saw the opportunity for some much-needed homeschooling. So day after day, we gathered the children for installments of the Hobbit movies. We consider it an essential part of our parental duty not only to equip our children for the challenges of this world, but also to acquaint them with the culture and customs of Middle-earth. You know what they say, if you don't teach your kids about the Ring of Power, someone else will. Probably Led Zeppelin. Or I guess maybe it'll be Amazon, which used to deliver books, but now has the power to generate prehistory for the Tolkienian universe. Who controls the present, controls the past, as Orwell said. The Hobbit was originally written so that bookish people, armchair homebodies with little athletic inclination and big hairy feet, could envision themselves whisked away on an unexpected journey with a kindly wizard and a rugby team. Good preparation for pudgy boys dreading a camping trip and girls getting ready for Smith College. Elizabeth and I both had formative relationships with that book. Now, my teenagers, their Middle-earth literacy comes mostly from internet memes, like Boromir saying one does not simply fill in the blank, is a popular one with 100 variations like one does not simply pass Gandalf, or one does not simply touch MC Hammer. But pop culture, and then there's the pop culture references like, and my ex. So for them, it was a delightful game of, oh, that's where this stupid thing comes from. Yes, but the reason people keep joking about this comical moment is that it's a minor flash of humor in an emotionally wrenching journey. Anyway, now we've once again carried our children up the rocky slopes of both trilogies. Connor did sleep through a chunk of the last movie, sort of like passing out for part of a car trip. We're back in the Shire already? Yes, you fell asleep. Now help us unpack. What happened? Well, Frodo and Sam broke up. But Legolas and Gimli finally got married. Sorry, I forgot to say spoiler alert. One thing the kids found to be entirely underwhelming was the dragon. Now here is where the strength of movie making fails. Because watching a CGI dragon awaken in a treasure vault or rain fire on Lake Town, no matter how expensive the special effects, cannot compare with sitting in a bed by lamplight, reading, and envisioning yourself facing this beast. There's only so much that we can worry about Bilbo Baggins in the second film when we've already been told that it's a Hobbit trilogy. Plus, we don't fear dragons like we used to. Our dragon anxiety is at an all-time low. Giant beasts are nowhere near as frightening as microscopic virus particles and Supreme Court judges, whose lifetime appointments make them unusually susceptible to dragon sickness. Tolkien did not invent that dragon. He inherited it from Beowulf, an Anglo-Saxon legend that he had translated into modern English. In that story, an ancient dragon had been slumbering on a big pile of treasure, and when a thief steals a single cup, the monster, being an uptight Anglo-Saxon sort of dragon, takes to the air, burning villages with its breath. King Beowulf comes out of retirement as an adventurer to fight this beast, and it mortally wounds him before he kills it with a dagger. The Beowulf dragon seems to have been borrowed from an old Norse legend of a greedy dwarf who killed his father and then hid himself away in a treasure cave until nesting upon this pile of wealth gradually turns him into a poisonous lizard. Then the theft of a piece of treasure awakens him, inciting a rampage, and he'll also be killed by a hero with an enchanted sword. These stories, and then Tolkien's story, have a fascinating common denominator. The dragon as a symbol of greed and danger and laziness. Dragons have long been symbols of various types of danger and harm. Old maps of the world used to use the caption, "Here be dragons," to mean uncharted territories. Ironically, here be dragons turned out to be the Americans. And in some ways, it would have made sense, instead of naming the continents after some cartographer, to just keep calling it here be dragons. The word dragon comes from the Greek language, possibly from Draco, an Athenian legislator who replaced an old informal law code with a written code. It was a tough code, ordering the death sentence for everything from cabbage theft to homicide. When he was asked why the law was so rigid and cruel, he answered that small crimes deserved death, and for the bigger crimes, he couldn't come up with anything worse. So actually, he said, the cabbage thieves were getting their just desserts and the killers were getting off easy. It is from Draco that we get the English word draconian, meaning excessively cruel punishment. And then later, the kind of monster whose cup gets stolen so it burns a whole village was named after Draco, the dragon. Do we know this word, draconian? Is it still around? It's endangered, you know. Like if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And then the English language is just going to be nothing but words like FNAF and Rizzler and blog, and we'll wonder what happened to it. So please, use an old word. And if somebody asks, just explain what it means. Some of the most famous snakes in religion are found in Greek mythology, like Heracles fighting the many-headed Hydra, Apollo killing the python, Perseus decapitating the serpent-haired Medusa. You could almost say behind every great man there is a decapitated snake. The Greeks loved presenting themselves as civilized saviors, rescuing the world from dangerous serpents, but we've got to be careful about taking Greek myth too literally, since we know from archaeology that classical Greece was built on the bones and ruins of peaceful utopias run by priestesses. A lot of this Greek mythology comes from barbarians rampaging through convents and then telling everyone that the nuns were scaly monsters. Like Heracles bullies the local midwives. It just doesn't sound as heroic as Heracles battles the Hydra. The association of the serpent with the shamaness is clear from Greek history. The enlightened god Apollo, they say, slew the great python, but the fumes of this buried monster's decay continued rising, giving visions to a priestess in a cave, the Pythia. And for almost 2,000 years, the oracle in this cave at Delphi uttered predictions of the future. It turns out she could predict everything except the CO2 detector. But then if she had, they would have figured out that there was a natural gas leak in the cave that was causing these visions, and then it would have stopped. But no matter how intellectually and philosophically self-congratulatory the ancient Greeks became, and these were the people who invented pretentiousness, Greek writers from Plato to Diogenes to Herodotus attested that the words of this psychedelic shamaness always proved to be true. The all-knowing Python priestess is one of the few surviving textual examples of the positive association of the divinely inspired woman with the serpent companion. But from prehistoric symbolism, we can see that this partnership was central in ancient spiritualities, long before stories like the Garden of Eden put the blame on all of humanity's problems on women and snakes talking to each other. From prehistoric symbols and vestigial traces in mythology, we can reconstruct elements of belief from before classical Greek myth and history. In one story, creation begins with a goddess, Eurynome the wide wandering, who dances in the swamp of dark chaos. And her graceful movements massage the elements apart into sea, land, and sky. Then, taking hold of the north wind, she forms a companion, the serpent Ophion. Assuming the form of a dove, she lays a great egg, and the snake coils around it to fertilize it until it bursts open. I know, we keep squinting at this. That's okay. What we're seeing here on this ancient piece of pottery is this common ancient symbol of a snake that is coiling around this world egg to fertilize it so that it can hatch, so that all of the stuff can come out. And out of this egg come the sun, moon, and stars, the planets and animals, the components of the habitable world. Then things go badly. The snake begins congratulating himself and telling everyone that he's the creator, and so the goddess kicks his teeth out and banishes him to the underworld. Now, in this story, the male snake is a necessary partner and protector, but once he starts acting patriarchal, the trouble starts, and the goddess punishes him. In Mayan mythology, the bird and the serpent are combined into a single figure. The primordial chaos cannot be separated into land, sky, and sea without the feathered serpent. Now, this is a special being who can travel all realms, possessing the scales of a sea snake and the feathers of a quetzal bird. As in other mythologies, the serpent aspect symbolizes immortality. This is a picture of a different snake. I just liked it. And the green feathers symbolize abundant forest growth. In addition, this singular figure in Mayan mythology encompasses a spectrum of gender, being simultaneously the masculine snake and the feminine bird. And this feathered serpent, they say, swam in the primeval muck where she encountered the storm god Huracan. And together they agreed that the water, land, and sky must be separated so that humans could be formed and begin farming. Ancient Chinese mythology contains dragons, both good and bad. Flying serpents are associated with dangerous lightning and much-needed rainfall. And in ancient Chinese flood narratives, a dragon called Yinglong saves the world by carving canals with its tail, allowing the floodwaters to drain away. The dragon is still celebrated as part of Chinese New Year parades in which dancers guide massive puppet dragons that slither in the air through the streets, purifying the houses and the businesses they pass. In the Chinese zodiac, 2024 is the year of the dragon. The dragon is an earth sign associated with the feminine side of the yin-yang. Lucky for children who are born this year, unless they suffer from double dragon penalty of self-doubt. And they say it's a good year for the rest of us who have been hoping to rise out of a slump. So happy Dragon New Year, and I hope that that will come true. The snake has always been a fascinating symbol. For our prehistoric ancestors, the serpent emerging, shiny and new from its wrinkled old skin must have looked like a magical act of rebirth and immortality. And then, of course, there was the whole issue of poison or strangulation or being swallowed whole by some giant anaconda. As a kid, I was taught a song to sing while being eaten by a boa constrictor. Oh, gee, it's up to my knee, and oh, heck, it's up to my neck. That's a Shel Silverstein poem. And I guess that's a pretty serene way to feel about being swallowed whole by this thing. Part of humanity's spiritual journey in all parts of the world has been coming to terms with terror, including the terror of the serpent, somehow integrating this into religion, not just labeling it evil or an eternal enemy, but making it part of a belief system. And here I'm not referring to that theory of ancient space lizards mating with primates to create the first humans, but I mean no disrespect to the space lizard believers out there. When we label the other or the unexplained as evil, we limit our own ability to learn from differences. Rather than empowerment, it is a hindrance in our journey. I think we have something to learn from ancient symbols of cooperation with these scary reptiles. Unless you run into a talking snake who says, "Don't tread on me." That guy needs therapy. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So I looked through the Gray Hymnal and I couldn't find any hymns about snakes or dragons. So came up with All Creatures of the Earth and Sky as a good medium. And so I invite you to rise and body your spirit as we sing number 203 in the Gray Hymnal, and we will only sing the first 3 verses. Remain standing as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now please be seated for a few brief announcements.
As our service draws to an end, our service to the world is ready to begin. Let me tell you about some of the opportunities to connect and serve in the days to come. Please join us for coffee and conversation immediately following the service. We meet in the Emerson room just through those double doors. You'll be hearing people singing and dancing. If you are interested in what is happening with our Green Justice team and the upcoming Living Green Festival in September, yes, planning begins like right now. Please see Wendy Scott during the coffee hour so you can be added to the Zoom meeting on Thursday, March 7th. Wendy, are you anywhere in here? You just went in there. Okay, so she's back there in the coffee room. Social justice activities are ramping up during this election season. There will be an organizational Zoom meeting to UU the Vote, so important, on March 14th. See Ruth Brown and Diane Tucker or Lorraine Marcus for details. And I know Lorraine's in here. Diane, I saw, I'm not sure. More information can be found in the March Forward, our congregation's monthly newsletter. Next week's service, our minister, Michelle Buhite, will return to the pulpit. As always, see the church newsletter, The Forward, for information regarding the upcoming services and events. Since our return to in-person services following the first wave of the pandemic, we've moved away from passing baskets for the offering during the service. Instead, we invite you to participate in supporting the mission and ministry of UU Amherst with your financial gifts at the end of the service. You'll find a green basket at the back of the chapel to receive your contributions, or you can give online by going to our website, uuamherst.org, click on the giving link, or text your gift to the number right here on your screen. Your gifts and participation are so important because we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig. This is as it should be, so long as we dig and plant for those who come after us. Your generous giving supports the work of this congregation. And now please rise in body or spirit and whatever you've got as we sing the closing blessing. Remain standing afterward for the benediction.
Look at one another. Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. Please remain standing for the benediction.
Together we have sanctified this space. If you have found strength and comfort here, share some out there. Remember that you are blessed and you are a blessing and you are not alone.
Go in peace.
things where it doesn't whatever, been teenage kind of yeah, you're right. I never knew how we got from like this to this.
That's nice. You know, I'd love you to be here.